Are we on?
Yes.
Good morning or afternoon, depending where you are. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a presentation that's got politics, hasn't it? And
the thing that we try to avoid.
We would never do under any conditions. I'm really loath to do this, but we don't have an option in this story.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump into the political cesspit, which is Kariong. And we're also going to be talking about two sites, one at Kariong and one in Waka Waka land. And I've just had some information from them, and we're trying to protect the site there. And that seems marginally more positive and possible than the Kariong one, Evan. But although that wouldn't be hard, would it? Kariong is such a mess.
Yeah.
All right, let me explain what's happened here, ladies and gentlemen. We decided probably about 4 months ago, when we found out that the New South Wales government, we knew this, sent out letters to every lands council, literally demanding they start subdividing and promising to act as a silent partner with an almost 100% guarantee whatever they say will be approved. We knew that was going on, and we knew that the subdivision that was going to take place at Kariong, near all of these sacred sites, is going to be approved by the council. It's going to be approved by the Darking on Lands Council because it's their land, isn't it, Evan?
Yeah.
And it's going to be approved by the New South Wales government. We thought, well, where's the point? It's lost. And maybe it still is, but we're back. And we're back because of one thing. I'm not going to mention the name of two original people, both of whom are spoken on behalf of the Lands Council, but I'm not even sure they're allowed to, actually, Evan. But anyway, there's been two people. We won't mention their names for now. And the first one went on and made a statement about the grandmother tree and said it was a tourist trap and it was a lie, it didn't exist and it wasn't true and it's a load of rubbish. By the way, I'm pleased to say since then people started going up to that tree and trashing it, haven't they?
Yeah, defacing it, ripping off bark, scratching it,
pulling rocks out, dirt out. They're trying to trash the tree because they've been told now it's not important. People have gone out and started acting on that. Now, what's interesting about that, and we're going to show this on the presentation we're putting up on Sunday, is that Annie Bev was the one who told us it was a grandmother tree. Annie Bev was the one who gave the last ceremony on that place at the grandmother tree, and Annie Bev is the one who's told us it's sacred. So what that elder was doing was calling Annie Bev a liar. And that's why we came back. I didn't know there was more. You didn't know there was more coming, did you, Evan, when we came back? We just thought it was that. Now, because Annie Bev was our boss whenever we went into country there, from the very first time we were there, and we've known that, and everyone told us to go and see Annie Bev, didn't they? Everyone did. That's the right person. We did that. And we would go on site and get ceremony from her each time. But now we've got someone else claiming to represent the Lands Council, is calling her a liar. Well, we had to step in. We had no choice. We had to come in there, and we decided we'd put together a conference called Kariong Calling. Then lo and behold, yesterday we found out more, didn't we, Evan?
Yes.
Another elder who we know, and I'll tell you a little bit about this one. I'm going to have to mention his name this time, aren't I, Evan? Yeah. It's Gary Duncan. He said that the Kariong glyphs are rubbish and should be destroyed immediately.
Graffiti or something.
Graffiti, like and should be destroyed immediately because all the people are going up there belong to cults. Now, I would ask Gary Duncan, what cults are going there? Where is your proof there's cults? Can you give us the names of these cults? We've been up there on occasions when we couldn't get a parking spot there. And I'll tell you now, tens of thousands of people have gone there, but apparently, Evan, they're all cult members.
All cults. Oh.
There must be a special register of cult members that must sign on as they get there.
Yeah. Maybe leave a logo or something.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Calling card and ring us. We're a cult. We're a horrible group of people and we've been to see the site. And he said because of those cult people being there, the only way to get rid of them is destroy the site completely. Now, I found that fascinating, and I'll tell you why I found it fascinating. Because Gary Duncan and we know this, don't we, Evan, was here when the Ancient Aliens mob that put out films that go around the world. And he was dressed up in his law coat, wasn't he, in the grey kangaroo skin coat. He wore that on. And there he was at the Kariong Glisten. We've got pictures of him standing next to Giorgio and us, praising the place and saying how fantastic it was. And in fact, when we went to Bulgandry, did he not tell us that that's about aliens coming here, Evan? And that they brought what with them? Kangaroos. And I didn't have heard that before. He said they brought the kangaroos here. And he's telling us all about, this is about aliens trailing through the Milky Way. Although he wouldn't be saying that now, would he? No, that's all rubbish, isn't it? That's cult stuff, isn't it?
Yep.
And then he went to the Kariong Glisten, was filmed with Giorgio saying how important it was. And he said that. And then about 4 years later, he says it's graffiti and only cult goes. Hang on, was he there? Would that mean if he's been there, he's in a cult? Logically,
anyone that goes there is in a cult.
Is in a cult. Now he's basically telling people it should be destroyed. Well, because of these lies, I want to make a point about this. Gabby Duncan was invited to and orchestrated Aboriginal proceedings and smoking for Annie Bev's funeral. Now, theoretically, if you're given that role, if someone insults Annie Bev, you are obliged to stand up for them, didn't you? He didn't stand up to another person whose first name was Duncan. A coincidence there, I don't know what it is, but there is a coincidence. By the way, all this is fact. He was there and he's supposed to defend Annie Bev, and I was very disappointed he didn't do it. He should have gone and spoke to that other Duncan. I don't know if they're related. We don't know that. He should have said straight away, you can't call Annie Bev a liar. But hang on, if it's a fake site and it's a fake tree, you can, can't you? So either something's going wrong here, but what's going wrong is 4 years ago, according to Gabby Duncan, when he dressed himself up in the kangaroo coat and proclaimed himself to be a lawman, he proclaimed to everyone that listened, and that film went around the world, didn't it, Evan?
Yeah, I've had the clips up for you to, there's a Facebook clip and a YouTube clip of that, so you can have a little look.
Yeah, if you want to check to see if we're making this up, you can see pictures of him standing there with Giorgio praising the site. Now it's rubbish and it needs to be destroyed. What gives one person the right to determine that a site is destroyed when they've already said it's proper? And I don't understand how this all works. How can these people, why are they saying these people? I know why they're saying it. It's because they want to develop it. Now, I want to make a point about this, ladies and gentlemen, that the subdivision doesn't impinge on the glyphs, but it's awful close to it. The subdivision doesn't impinge on the oldest star map in the world, but it's even closer to that. The subdivision doesn't impinge on a site that Annie Bev said was the most important, a women's site in Australia, didn't she? You were there. And so were 8 other people, and we filmed it. That's extremely close to it. But the site does impinge on a platform where there are close to 1,000 star markers, and of which we had mapped 380. And we'd sent them to Ireland, didn't we? Yes. To a gentleman there. And he identified the Pleiades cluster and quite a few others. That is the largest star map in the world. And we'll be showing you that map on the Sunday. It does impinge on that one. And you know what the Lands Council has said? There's nothing here, nothing to see here. And they've also said, if we try and defend that land, we're racist. That's been said, hasn't it, Evan? If we try and defend that land and say that this subdivision is wrong, we are racist. Nina, for God's sake, who's been working with the original people forever down there, has now been called racist because she doesn't think that's a good idea and it's going to destroy the site. Now, I want to make a point. All of these sites, and there are so many around there, you've got to remember that Kariong, that area there, has been identified as having more rock carvings per square kilometre than anywhere on the planet. So trying to find a place around there where there aren't markings is nigh on impossible, and it's not going to happen.
Just about every platform
has got something on it. I've seen by army's footprints, haven't we? We've seen all sorts of stuff there.
There's dilanthans.
Oh, dilanthans, which are markers of sacred sites, and we've seen stuff there, different sites that are amazing that can't even be described. What about that hole that goes above one set of glyphs? It goes in for about 1.5 meters, and it's that wide.
Yep.
It goes straight into this massive cliff. There's all sorts of questions there, but Gavi's decision is destroy it all, right? If you get rid of everything, there's nothing to see here anymore, is there? Well, we're going to put up a presentation, and we're going to give our presentation, and what we're going to do is we're not even going to start at Kariong. We're going to go all around the area to show you how many things are there and how they're all interconnected. And once you've got that locked in, then we might look at Kariong. And we're going to show you evidence that has been looked at by the top laboratory in this country. Evidence has been analysed by the top machine in this country, analysing what's inside there. And also evidence that came from Sydney Uni that validated that there is a star map there that is 4,600 years old and is about 50 metres from the Kariong glyphs. And ladies and gentlemen, according to the story there, it was Khufu's sons who came here, and it happened to be 4,600 years ago. So we're going to show you evidence, and we're going to take you for a trip around the whole area. And when we finally get there, you'll have a pretty good idea what to expect because you've seen it everywhere else.
So something people, I don't know, this frustrates me, right? They'll go, oh, look, we cordoned off a tiny little area that is where the artifacts from, the sacred site. But let's put houses right up to it. It's fine now, not knowing that.
There's ley lines. All sacred sites are interconnected. You break the cord, you break the sites.
Yep.
They're all linked together. The Bulgandry site is linked to the Kariong site. What about the site what Klaus took us to, where those massive stones that weigh tons are all stacked on top of one on the side of a cliff that runs at 45 degrees and you can die and fall on it? They built all this stuff and it's all interlinked. What these people are saying is, I'm looking at one thing and I'm telling you what it is, but we're going to look at everything and put it all into context. This is what we have to do. Now, I can tell you that if we do this, we're going to be called racist. The fact that I'm original and proved it through genetics, my Denisovan content is 4.7%, which means I'm 1/20th non-Homo sapien, and I'm proud of that too, I can tell you, particularly right now when I look around what sapiens are doing. I'm saying my 5%, mate, is the important part.
Yep.
The rest of my feet, they're sapien. My brain, it's Denisovan. I can see through this. So, ladies and gentlemen, those sites are connected in every possible way. And when you do ceremony, you link them together.
Yeah.
And you take out the main site and think the rest are fine, they're not. You take out another site and you think the rest are fine, they're not. Which is the main site? We don't friggin' know, but they're all together. Now, I can't believe we've got these people now saying, people who are supposedly experts telling us to destroy the site. Whoever said that? Not even the critics said that, but that's what we're hearing. But that is the same person that 4 years before told us don't destroy the site. It's sacred. It's become from sacred to graffiti, from the same mouth. Now, that means one of those two is a lie. And here's the trick with this. If someone tells one lie, when does it stop? Particularly if you're prepared to go on to national radio and pronounce that it's rubbish and it's graffiti. But they went on national TV that went around, not international, and stated that it was legitimate. Which one is right? I know the answer.
Yeah.
The first one. Now, we're going to prove that. And when we finish proving that, we're going to ask 2 or 3 other people to speak, and they're all locals down there. We're asking Annie Fuller. She'll talk about Annie Bev. She knew her quite well. She's an original person. She's also trying to protect that site, and she'll tell you her story. Lisa Bellamy is a non-original person that's been fighting for the site for quite some time, and she wants to talk more about the ecological, the environmental concerns about that site and give a broader perspective of what's going on. And then we have Nina Angelo, who's an OAM for services to the community given by the federal government for a work with the community, who now apparently is racist. And she's going to talk about Annie Bev, and she's going to do some readings from Annie Bev and talk about her experiences with the place. And I want you to understand something. These two men are calling Annie Bev a liar. We have to defend Annie Bev, and we'll do it every way possible. We're going to introduce you to her in every way. We're going to put up film of her giving that ceremony at the so-called tourist trap.
The tourist trap.
The tourist trap. She gave her last ceremony there, and I can tell you while it was there, she sang the song of the four winds. Now, I know the other people there didn't know what that meant, but I did. That's an incredibly sacred song that only a few people know, is only given to the most sacred places. I'm sorry, Mr. Duncan, she would never give it to a tourist trap, would she?
It's not how it works.
It's not how it works. You'll see that ceremony. We're asking you to join us in this. Now, I'm going to make a point. I'm not having to go at the Lands Council, because the Lands Council were instructed by the government to develop, and they're doing it everywhere. And sacred sites are being destroyed all over the place. Do you remember Duke and Gorge when Rio blew it up, didn't they?
Oh, whoops.
Whoops. But here's better news. Guess what? 2 weeks ago, Rio announced something else. They went to those rocks, all those rocks in West Australia, they've got all those engravings there, and they blew it up. And they announced that minor damage took place.
Oh, minor damage. Oh.
3 weeks ago that happened. Do you know what happened since then? Nothing. Standing stone site, government, the local council just announced 500 houses are going to be built there. There's a pattern here, ladies and gentlemen. And then it comes up to the new one. We're working with the Waka Waka. And they asked me to go up there and look at a site there. And I spoke to a lady there by the name of Silvie. And I said, I can't go until I'm invited by the elders. And Annie Union invited me to go there, which I did. I had a look. And you know what I expected? I expected to see traditional original stuff from stick, stone and bone technology, which I did. But then I saw stuff that wasn't. I saw a rock that was cut in half like that. I've got another tiny rock about that big that's got about 500 markers on it. Yes, Donnie, I agree with that. I agree. Donnie just said, ask the hairy people for help. I know they are there. They are there. I can tell you. In fact, if you don't believe that, go and ask Harry's from Bondi Rescue, whose son saw them, saw the hairy people there and told Harry about it. He's gone on video telling people it's true, hasn't he?
Yep.
We know they're there, Donnie. Of course they are. And they've made it clear they're not happy. They are not happy. The little ones are there, the big ones are there, and they're not happy. We're not happy. But some group is. The ones who are going to make money out of it, they're happy, aren't they?
Yes.
Very happy. Now, the Waka Waka. I'm not telling you where. I went to this site and it was stunning. It was way more than what I expected. There were rocks there. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we've put up an article about that. You can go and look at them. There's an article that's just been posted. I've taken out the location because you don't need to go to the place. It's too sacred for you to go there unless you're doing ceremony. Now, there are rocks there that have been cut in ways that aren't stick, stone and bone technology, but there's stuff there very important. What can I tell you I found there? I didn't find it. I was taken by a lady called Silvie, who's been walking through this place for the last couple of years and found so much stuff. We found a collection of crystals in one spot. And it was a mound about 4 meters across, 4 meters long, 2 meters across, and about half a meter high. And when I got there, it was just a mound. And Sylvie and Rod was coming with two. He got out a leaf blower and started to blow the leaves off. And all of a sudden, I started to see a couple of crystals. Then I saw some more. Then I saw some more. Do you know what? In the end, there were literally hundreds in one small section we marked out. I reckon there are thousands of crystals separate from each other, all stacked and hidden in one spot. What did that make me think? What's going on here? Then next time I'm going to a massive deposit of red ochre. We also heard about the fact there were marked trees there that were burial trees, and the placentas were placed inside the trees, and then mud was placed there. And guess what? Nearly all the trees have been knocked down by forestry. There's 2 standing, the rest have fallen.
Wow.
Then we went to another place, a little cave, where there was all this white stacked together. What's that for? Painting. What's the crystals for? For the women. What's the birthing place for, where they put the placenta? For the women. This place is all in one place. It's all together. It's sacred. And so guess what happens? They did send an archaeologist out there.
Oh.
But they forgot to tell the people that actually should be told from the Waka Waka group.
So that he just arrived.
Oh no, they got a permission. They got permission, or they got a signature of a person who is Aboriginal.
One, but what about the rest of the community?
That person wasn't the person they were supposed to see. They were supposed to see certain people that wasn't on the list.
Right.
But they went there and they had a look. And they didn't go and see Silvie, who's been there for the last 4 years, looking around, finding all this stuff, and has about 400 artifacts, which they know about and they agree with. It's been collected in one spot. Didn't see that. Didn't go and see the elders. Went and saw there and said, well, it's nothing here. Keep logging. They're not happy about that. They're not happy at all. And nor should they, because that particular place, they do have a call on it. The forestry have to get permission off them before they can do anything. So what's happening there? I think an alternative report is going to be done up. And in that alternate report, that person, whoever that's going to be, it could be us, will go and work with the elders first, get their permission, go and see Silvie, get Silvie to take us and look at that stuff, then write the report and give it first to the elders before they would publish it.
Oh, that's a bit different.
Oh, you don't do it the other way. You always give it. We will always give it to the elders.
We do it that way, but I don't think anyone else does.
And then the elders look at it and they can take it all out. They can screw it up. They can burn it. Now, we wrote this report, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
We've sat here with it. We didn't put it out to anyone because we didn't have permission. Only after this happened did one of the Arnies say to me, we need you to put out stuff and tell people what's going on. And that's what we're doing now. Now, what do all these sites share? The same thing. Apathy, denial. The Kariong site, the Kariong glyphs, not registered. Agreed? It's not a site. Standing stone site. Is it registered? No, it's not a site. What can you do with that? Lovely spot, the mound. What could you put on that mound? Building sites. I reckon you put a lovely 10 or 12, because it's a raised mound. It's got a beautiful view up there.
You could have a nice horizon pool overlooking the mountains.
Yeah.
Pole houses and balconies.
Great. Yeah.
No floods up there.
No floods up there. It's really steep to get up there. How do they get the rocks up there, mate? It's 45 degrees and it goes up about 60 metres. How do they get 10-ton rocks up there?
Well, I mean, I have some ideas about that, but I don't think everyone else is going to agree with it.
Or what they say, it's a fake site, so they don't answer it.
Ooh, that's
clever. That's how you do it. It's a fake site. By the way, who just found some more rocks, and we're going to see them, and it's also in the same area, about 4 k's away.
Yeah. And
they're also column of basalt.
Oh, there they are again.
Just like on the mound.
Isn't that interesting?
So, ladies and gentlemen, Kariong is in a really bad state of repair. We're going to try everything we can to stop this. Yes, the site at Kariong is closed at the moment. You're right, Kathy.
Well,
they've closed it down.
Kind of. You can...
They put up signs say don't go there, and if you don't go there, no one sees it, no one knows what it is, and slowly it dies and it disappears. And if Gavi and the other mob have their way, one day they'll just turn up there and just blow the whole thing up, and it's gone. Mind you, at one stage, the Australian government were going to do it, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were going to use that site for artillery practice, and we're not joking, that's true. They were going to blow it up then. So, Gavi, you're a bit late, mate. They've already tried that once. Yes, I do believe this, not to be built on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're asking the people listening to this right now and those people who pick this up later. I want you to pass this on to other people, and I want you to try and recommend to them that they come to this meeting. What we did was we went down to Nina, who's been working and fighting for this before we were, and she lives there. She's in contact with everyone. She got some other people, which is what Lisa and Annie Colleen are, to speak about that. And we're going to tell you what this place is like. And what we're going to do in our 2-hour session, we're going to present some stuff you've heard before and some you haven't, but we have to do it again, and we're going to present it in a way that our presentation becomes the definitive presentation about that site, and we present all the empirical proof that's scientific at the end of it to make this point clear, because I have no science. I think it's rubbish. I think that students did it. or maybe a deranged Czech did it, or someone else did it, or the hippies did it. They've named so many different groups of people, but they haven't got one stat deck, one admission if it was students that no one ever dobbed the uni thing for doing it. By the way,
you got some inside information about what the students would and wouldn't have done in that time period too, from one of the students.
Yes, we spoke to a student from Sydney Uni, and I told them that what's claimed is that the university took these people out and they made a fake site. And this student was from the time of there and said at that stage, Sydney Uni was trying their hardest to be the most respected university in Australia. They guarded their reputation with fastidiously in every way possible. And yet you're telling me that someone said they took a group of students out. By the way, they don't teach any hieroglyphs as a subject there. Got them out there to do hieroglyphs for 3 months and made a fake site and created all this mess, and that's what they're teaching them how to be. She said that just would not happen. Well, that would not happen. And it didn't. And we're going to prove it. And we're going to prove it by showing all the stuff that's around there, and then when we get there, you'll see more. Now, I want to warn you about one thing. Those people have been fighting against those elders and attacking them. It's been made very clear to us that they're going to try and break this up and get inside this and stop it in every way possible. And they'll probably turn up on the side making reports and making comments. We're going to have people watching, both Evan and Leah will be watching, and we're going to block people who start to try and mess this up because they've had their say. They're winning. They've got everyone listening to them. They want to destroy the trees and they're doing it. They want to destroy the site and they're starting to do it too. They've had their say. This is a place where we get to state what we believe is true. So if you are one of those people, we'll block you as soon as we can. And if you see them writing that sort of stuff, don't respond to them. Don't say a word to them. We'll get rid of them. We can't have these people there. They've had their chance. They've won so far. This is our last attempt. What we are trying to do is when we put this up, we're going to try and get this to some influential people, and we're going to leave this one up. Normally what we do is we leave it up a couple of days and take it off.
Usually about a day or two.
We're going to leave this up much longer. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and get this to some people that count, some media people and people that are well known, and get them to look at this and think this is wrong, and they may join us in this fight to save this place. It's nearly too late to save it, but not completely. So what I'm asking you people to do, and I see we've got a few people around at the moment. I think we've got, is that 61?
Yep.
Okay, what I'm asking all of you 61 to do is to get other people to watch this and get them to come. Now, they don't have to watch it on the day, the whole thing. They've got a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. I don't know. It'll be there for a long time. Watch a bit of it. Then if you've got other things to do, come back, or maybe come back halfway through, watch the rest later. But please pass this around. This is the last attempt, because I can tell you, when I start hearing original people that have got a lot of clout trying to convince people to destroy a site. Can I share something with you? The other Duncan said about this decision, he said, this is our land, we'll look after it and we'll decide what to do. And then I've got another original person saying, I'm going to destroy the site. Do you know what this sounds like? This sounds like exactly like what happened when the British came here. Didn't they say, put up a flag and say, this is our land, we'll decide what to do? They did, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then some original people said no. And what did they do to them? Kill them.
Yeah.
What are they doing to this site? If you destroy it, what do you do to it?
Yeah.
You kill it. So what you got now is original people behaving like the colonials that first came here. Two wrongs don't make a right. And that's what we've got right now. We've got a shocking situation taking place here. We ask you to join us. We ask you to look at the truth we're going to put out there. And if you think it runs, then tell others to look at this and ask yourself, is this right? For God's sake, they are deliberately, and every elder I've spoken to has agreed with me. I haven't had one said no. But I don't know how it's happening, but all of the sacred sites in this country are being destroyed right now. And the two most important ones we know of in this country are Kariong, the Standing Stone site, And then now I've stumbled on to what I think is a magnificent woman's site with the Waka Waka are trying to protect. And it has archaeology in there that breaks every rule there is. Well, that means to me, if it's in Australia, that means it's endangered, doesn't it? And right now, possibly they're going to be destroyed. Hopefully not.
Mm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there's two stories here about two sites. One we have to fight for today. And the other one, well, that's coming soon. And the same problem both times. Anything that's sacred, anything that's important, anything that's cultural, burn it, blow it up, or just destroy it.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even tell people about it. Oh, that one.
That's a good one, yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone political for once. I do apologise for this. I don't want to do it. Well, they call Annie Bev a liar.
What else can we do?
Yeah, twice about the tree, which she told us about. And she told us about the glyphs. And she said, that's the Egyptians' writing and our writing. Our writing. You can't destroy original writing. She said the older writing, the Egyptians learnt that off us.
So if you want to see that, here's a link.
To what?
To her interview about the glyphs.
Oh, Annie Bev's interview.
Yeah, I've just flashed that up.
Yeah, we've got that on Egyptians in Australia Part 2. And with that is also David Fitzgerald, who was the Aboriginal Sites Officer at the time and was working with National Parks and Wildlife. And we'll tell you the story about what he said and the truth of what really happened and how the cover-up began way back in the start. And he watched it. And we'll tell you all about that. If you think we're lying, go to Egyptians in Australia Part 2, where I did an interview with Annie Bev and David Fitzgerald. Annie Bev is the last, not the last full descent. My apologies, Colleen. One of the last full descent original elders of the Darkinghorn tribe. And David Fitzgerald, who was a blood relation to Pemulwuy, was hired by National Parks and Wildlife to be the sites officer. Can we give you better evidence than that? The elder and the sites officer. And then we have Arnie Colleen, who's now the protector of that site. We have everyone there. Please come and join us. And it's not going to be a lot of fun, but we don't have a choice. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, the article has been loaded at the moment. It's called a preliminary report on archaeology found in a state forest. I'm not telling you which one. The Waka Waka said, please talk about it, but don't tell them where. You don't need to know where it is, but you do need to know what it is and what's happening. And what's happening with the Waka Waka. Isn't that what happened at the Standing Stone site? Isn't that what happened at Kariong? Isn't that what happened at Yukon Gorge? Isn't that what happened at Gangamaya, which was going to be blown up before Yukon Gorge? Do you know what? I could continue saying that for a long time. Okay, hope to see you on Sunday and see if you can bring some people along.
All right, see you in a few days.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay.